Welcome back everyone to this mini series about decks that you can play differently right now and trying to get to Treasure Cup, the different kind of decks that you can play and how, this one you can play two different ways too. I'm going to show you two different lists that whichever you feel more comfortable with, whichever fits your playstyle better. I feel like I'm trying to give you some tools. I'm trying to recommend like the best way to play the deck that you feel more attuned with, because there's some different ways and some different matchups that you want to improve on. And let's go into the first list here. This one, the special thing about this list is pretty much everything basic. You play 4 and 4. This one's 4. This one's you play 4 usually. The difference here is that you're playing Pacifista and you're playing the Kuma. You're playing 2 of the Crocodiles, 2 of the Flamingo, 2 of the Mihawks. These ones are pretty standard. 4 Love Beans, pretty standard, and 2 of the Espada. The nice thing about this list is that you get to play the Kuma out of the leader, and if they KO it, you get to play a Pacifista for free. That is really good value. This list is trying to tempo out the opponent more than anything else. Since you can be more aggressive with this list because you played this Kuma, you get a Pacifista for free, and then next turn you get to add another card into the board and attack with your Kuma and keep all your counters up. So you're trying to be more aggressive and you're trying to tempo out the opponent out of the game, and that works really well. If you're playing against red, you're playing against purple, or you're playing against green, no, not green, I'm sorry, or you're playing even against blue. It's really good to have some cards that you can replace with. It gets you some advantage. So having this kind of effects where you can just replace your cards and you can just keep tempoing out the opponent really works against those decks. However, it's really weak against green specifically, because if you do the same kind of strategy where I play a card here, they're gonna play an Okiku, they're gonna play Pacifista. They're gonna play their tappers, they're gonna play they're gonna just go after your board, and yeah, you can give them a lot of cards by attacking the leader and be really aggressive, and they can be at 0 life. But as soon as they drop an 8-drop and you don't have enough cards to combat with, like if you have a bunch of 5Ks in your board and the opponent has like 8, 9, 10 cards in hand and an 8-drop and 2 blockers to defend it, you have effectively lost the game, because they don't care about your board anymore. It's irrelevant at that point. They're just gonna go after your leader. You already wasted so many resources trying to defend your board. They can still kill your board, but like the only way to reliably beat an 8-drop is if you have your Mihawk and you have Don Flamingos out. But one Don Flamingo doesn't do it, and one Mihawk alone, it could get like a blocker here and there, but it's not good enough. You need more than that to be able to beat green. However, again, as I'm saying, against red, against purple, against even the mirror, having this kind of replacement effects and having this tempo strategy works excellent. You get a leg up in those kind of matchups, and this is the first this is one of the lists that's been topping consistently. For that reason, maybe they haven't seen green players that play the 8-drop or something like that. But if you plan that you're not gonna see like those, or you plan that that's the only loss that you're gonna take, and you want to just improve in the other matchups and just have a rough matchup against green, maybe have a 50-50 if you draw the right cards, then yeah, this list is for you, and this is gonna get you super far into the Treasure Cups. Now let's look at the next one, which I think has a more effective game plan against green. Alright, so this is the list that I've actually been playing recently. This is the one that I consider has a better matchup against green. We have been testing this list because we think Don Flamingo would be the best deck in the format if it wasn't for the green matchup. The 8-drop is almost unbeatable for this deck, in our experience at least. That's the card that you cannot beat reliably. Even in this list that we're trying to use like the best tools to beat it, it's still super difficult to kill an A drop. If they have it on curve and they just have protection for it, you all your 5Ks, and the reason this leader is so good is because you have a bunch of 5Ks that act as blockers, and they can use them as pressure for 5, 7, whatever the number is. You can play your cards, replace them, and keep going and keep using your leader as a value engine, where every turn you're basically drawing 2 cards per turn because your leader putting a card into the board, like basically a blocker. It's a lot of advantage that you can get for free. So here, what we're trying to utilize is Vergo, Don Flamingo, and Draco Mihawk. So the way that we think that the matchup is gonna go, and that's how, in our experience, how it actually always go, is we have to go Vergo on 5 energy, Flamingo on 7, and Mihawk on 9 energy. You have to follow that curve like to the letter. Maybe you can miss one of the Mihawks if you play another 7. As long as you have 3 cards that have 7k attack on board, you are able to contest the A drop. Mind you, it's not perfect. You're not always gonna be able to kill the A drop, but you at least need 7 cards, 7k attackers, to be able to combat the board that the opponent is gonna be able to amass. The A drop more than anything. And these are the only cards that are able to do it that way. This card keeps away the Basal. This card also keeps away the Basal and the blockers. Some of the blockers. And if you play them on curve, yeah, they're gonna play an A drop, but they're not gonna have anything to defend it with. They're not gonna have anything behind it, and they're gonna have to keep energy up and blockers every turn. And you're gonna be able, if they don't have enough blockers, you're gonna be able to do 9, 10 with these cards. It takes your turn, but that's the only reliable way to beat the A drop, and that's the only way that we found that we're able to do it. Now, what we take out for that engine is the Kuma engine. Basically, we still play 2 of that one because we just don't want to be too low on Baroque works. You still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half. So it's basically the same numbers. It's just 2 less of the Kuma. However, we do gain the Vergo, and Vergo is really good in not only against green. You can also use it good. It's good against purple because 7k is hard for them to remove. Like the only card that can remove it is the 9 and the A drop. But if you drop this on 5, the 9 and the 10 drop. But if you drop this on 5, it's gonna be a reliable 7k attacker that is gonna take a life every time. And also is really good against in the mirror. It's kind of 50-50 if they have their Flamingo on their own. It's kind of really bad if you play this one and they play their Flamingo. So then you lose a little bit there. But if they don't have their Flamingo, it's a 5k. Like it's gonna pressure the leader very well, and it's gonna pressure the board very well. We also have is good against red for sure, because you have this guy and he's not gonna die. He doesn't get jet pistol. He doesn't get not easily, at least. They have to use 2 cards to be able to jet pistol him. And it's a card that is gonna immediately dominate the board. It's gonna be able to kill their winnies. And it's a really good card in that matchup for sure. And against I said red, yeah, red, purple, and blue. We don't want that one too much on that one. And against green is one of the reasons. This is the reason we're playing this one, because against green is so good. Again, that curve, and the way you get that curve is playing these 2 guys early on. So if you have one of the pieces out, and if you play one of these ones out, you're usually able to find the other 2, or at least you're trying to dig for that combo engine, so you can have enough cards, 7Ks to try to pressure the A drop. That is the main concern, and that's the main reason why we play the deck the way that we play it. I also upped the Espada, because I think this card should be even a 4-off in this deck, because it's a good 2k, and it rearranges your deck, and especially now that we're playing a lower count of 7 warlords. it's good to always have be able to look at the top five. But in the testing that we've been doing, I recently played it in OPS online, the simulator, and I did really well with it. I only lost. Well, we only had a good matchup against a red deck, which was closer than I liked. But like you do have to give something up in order for you to play these cards. The red matchup was a little bit worse, but not by like a huge margin at all. Like you still were able to do basically the same thing that you do. It's just he was a really good player, and he won one game. I won one game, and I won the third one. But it was really close all the three games. But you can still win those matchups easily if you played the deck correctly. And against green, again, that's the main reason. And I would advise you, if you want to go into the Treasure Cup, look into something like this, where you can try to combat the 8-drop. You're already good against everything else. Against purple, you have a really good matchup. You don't really need that many, like the Pacifista engine and all those things. Yeah, they're 9s, but they don't really add in the other matchups. And you just really want something against green, which is the main offender here against this leader. This leader is powerful enough on its own, where the only thing that you need to worry about is just how to beat the 8-drop. If you're able to figure that out, even if it's not this list or it's something different that you want to try, that you do for that matchup, that's the main concern that I would like try to dig an answer for this leader, so you can make it to top 8, so you can win the event. Because if you have a way to beat the 8-drop reliably, this deck will absolutely can make it to the first place. That's the only card that's gatekeeping the powerful effect that is just playing a card for free every turn. So that's the deck profile, the two decks that I wanted to showcase here, and the two ways that you can play this deck and still and they're different. They definitely feel different, because playing a 5K and playing the Pacifistas for free, those are two. They feel completely different, but they're ultimately you're trying to achieve the same goal, which is play cards for free at the top of the deck and just outgrind the opponent into a long game, where you're gonna be able to outgrind for days because you have blockers and your cards record themselves a lot. So if that's the deck profile. If you really liked it, please let us know. Leave us a comment, and please consider subscribing if you like the content, and let us know if you want us to keep this content. We want to do one for each leader. Thank you for watching.